Hello, today I will be talking about a paper that caught my attention because of its title. It is called Social Media. What's social media? And this will recap some citations from previous decades and modern decades, so I think it is perfect for this. And that we continue our online based on social media, also IT, social networks, industrial revolutions, and others. One of the recent most impactful IT phenomena is the emergence and spread of a subset of IT technologies referred to as social media. We have a top 100 highest research topics on social media, which range from foreign languages, politics, to machine learning, and even smoking related issues, touching virtuality on every aspect of people's personal and professional lives. Interpersonal web-based communication technologies have long been investigated by IS researchers. Social media are, however, qualitatively different from traditional media and online communication systems. Social media have been defined in a variety of ways. The definition of social media as a platform to create profiles, make explicit and traverse relationships in 2008. This has been cited over 3,000 times according to Google Scholar, even more now in the day. Other definitions identifying social media by the set of functionalities or building blocks has 3,000 citations or had back in the day. And the taxonomy of social media split in the field into six distinctive categories: blogs, social networking sites, collaboration projects, content communities, virtual social worlds, and virtual game worlds. Introduced in 2010. Two finds resonance with 11,000 citations on Google Scholar back in the day. The trend of creating new and updating old definitions continues, as does the development, use, and adoption of social media. We also have to recall that we talk a lot about social media, but have ever someone tell us about its definition itself? We got introduced into an online world that is huge without even knowing how to define it first. And on the other hand, content communities can be resonating with community management. Now we don't even have to be like new to online communities. We even develop roles based on that so people can understand more what a online community is and how to manage it in pro of private or public interest. We have two definitions which stem from an empirical qualitative comparative case study on social media use in organizations and gets to poses them with current definitions in the literature. The first question is, what is social media and how do academically accepted definitions resonate with the definitions in the field? The second question, in enterprise social media and the highlighted importance of research in this field, would be what makes the social media platforms an in-house or enterprise social media. We have the introduction of possible definitions of social media from recent literature, as we stated before. We also have it followed by a brief introduction of the research project. The question of how to define social media and how to define enterprise social media, we are going to discuss it later. But something to be considered impactful. Academic researchers need to be communicated and applied outside academia. One of the barriers to communication is the language and definitions used in academia and in practice. There is no clear definition of what social media is, which means that research findings are often not comparable or transferable, or at least it was back in 2016, 2017. But that seemed like really curious, right? Like people, some companies, they launch something new out there in the market and they don't even bother to define what social media is or to do researches around it. And then later on, I was like a decade later, more than a decade later, we're still trying to find what social media is. Its definition, its concrete definition. And it's like, we can have it now, but it actually arrived later than expected. From the first MySpace social media platform to this. Why is that something that happened to start with? We also have that this means that research findings are not often comparable or transferable, as stated before. In the case of social media, researchers have focused on one specific platform or application. This could be a plus, but also going from something specific to something general can also be trouble when it's offered to the masses. When it's massively used as well, it's just like you cannot go too specific to something general anymore. You need to cover up more territory than you even thought about. Social media has been defined as websites which allow profile creation and visibility of relationships between users. Web-based applications which provide functionality of for sharing relationships, group conversations, and profiles. Social media have been referred to as social media sites or a set of information technologies which facilitate interactions and networking. However, there appears to be a broad agreement that Web 2.0 technologies play a significant role in the development and adoption of social media. Another definition of social media refers to internet based applications built on Web 2.0, while Web 2.0 refers to a concept as well as a platform for harnessing collective intelligence. Social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, provide people with a pervasive network connectivity. Do you agree with the statement of harnessing collective intelligence? I will go with harnessing collective community or communications, perhaps. But let me know what you think of it. The term Web 2.0 refers to the set of technologies and ideologies that enable and drive media rich content creation on the internet. Web 2.0 or 2.0 is rooted with the open source ideology, whereby users collaborate freely using free tools and sharing their work and information with each other. Technological advances in Web 2.0 and open ideology support the emergence of user generated content or UGC. UGC. Another role that emerged, but now this one is paid. So is it still a user generated content? I think we need to add something more like organic or non organically. The ability to create and share content free of censorship and at low cost contributed to the proliferation of social media, which is something that states today. As an information system, social media is built upon a set of available internet communication and computing technologies, as well as a set of ideological beliefs about how information should be created, accessed, and distributed. All definitions of social media agree that social media implies use of online or internet technologies. Following the transparency, sharing, and integration ideology of Web 2.0, many of the applications, websites, mobile applications, online systems, are allowing programmatic integration with other Web 2.0 applications. Notable is the definition and proliferation of a standard integration protocols, which allowed the integration of several systems to be implemented in an easier and quicker manner. As the integration interfaces would follow predefined standards, for example, Simple Object Access Protocol, arguably the definition of social media should include the technological, internet and mobility, the geological transparency sharing and integration, as well as functional component. We have one of the approaches to identify social media is to describe the functionalities of a given platform and application in terms of essential social properties. But how many social medias nowadays is purely social? Specify seven functional building blocks of social media which are present to greater or lesser extent any social media application of which can be submitted and enhanced through integration of several applications or substituted. We have presence, relationships, identity, reputation, groups, conversations, and sharing as social media functionalities. And the implications of the functionalities, we have it as well. So for identity, it is the extent to which users reveal themselves in social media. For relationships, it is the extent to which users relate to each other. Reputation, the extent to which users know the social standing of others and content. Groups, the extent to which users are ordered or form communities. Conversations, the extent to which users communicate with each other. Sharing, the extent to which users exchange, distribute, and receive content. Presence, the extent to which users know if others are available. But what are the implications? For presence, creating and managing the reality, intimacy, and immediacy of the context. Conversations, conversation velocity, and the risk of starting and joining. For relationships, it will be managing the structural and flow properties in a network of relationships. For sharing, content management system and social graph, identity, data privacy controls, and tools for user self promotion. Reputation, it will be monitoring the strength, passion, sentiment, and reach of users and brands. Presence, creating and managing the reality, intimacy, and immediacy of the content. Identity, data privacy controls, and tools for user self promotion. I like to continue with a definition of each one of the items that I just mentioned before because these are crucial. Those are the functionalities of social media. The relationships allows community members to visualize their networks in many ways, ranging from likes and followers followed to virtual representation of real-life relationships. These social graphs abstractions can be uni and bidirectional and allow strong and weak ties. For example, following on Twitter is not necessarily reciprocal, whereas a connection on LinkedIn requires both parties to accept the connection and both to indicate the nature of their relationship sometimes. Groups refers both to membership groups, where users can articulate their affiliations with or interest in a specific subject, and groups utilized by users to manage their relationships. Sharing refers to activities through which existing content is spread and possibly enhanced through the social graph. Hereby, the social connections might not be necessary being made explicit. For example, publicly sharing on Facebook or posting on Twitter does not rely on existing connections. On the contrary, in the example of Twitter, sharing often precedes connections. Presence allows users to know where other community members are. Conversations allows users to interact with each other in a broadcast or dialogue manner synchronously, in real time or asynchronously, with time lapse between its statements. Reputation allows users to qualify the concept provided by another user and establish trust levels between community members. These trust levels can be made explicit, for example, through a scoring or ranking system. Identity refers to the representation of the user in the virtual world. It could be as descriptive and personal as a profile on Facebook, listing birthday, hobbies, family relationships, and others. Or it could be as vague as an imaginary pseudonym. And that's where the another debate hides. Like how much of us are in on each profile, how much of us is not like a performer is profile, and how much of us is just not a person or figure that you want others to see, but on your real life you aren't even 10% of what you're showing to the others. Many of the platforms provide users with the ability to integrate other applications. Through the integration of two or more platforms, the building blocks, the affordances of one system can be greatly enhanced, but also jeopardized. For example, by enabling the integration of Twitter and Facebook, whereby a tweet also appears in the personal thread in Facebook, the identity of a Twitter account becomes much more personal on Facebook. Vice versa, a Facebook post visible inside that platform only could reach much wider audiences when simultaneously posted on Twitter. And that's when you get the potential outreach. For example, when Instagram asks you if you want to also publish the same post on Facebook, is to get more eyes, more friends, to spread your picture. You're telling both algorithms. But yeah, it's basically that. The internet integrative nature of Web 2.0 applications makes the assessment of the functional blocks in a single application difficult at the least and meaningless at the most. Integrated social network systems combine their capabilities and thus could be assessed as a system and not as individual applications. However, this poses another challenge. Specific applications and technologies can be combined by the end users to meet their individual needs, so that a social media system of one user is not necessarily the same or comparable to the social media system of another user. Arguably, definitions of social media and landscapes or groups will address this challenge. And what do you use social media for? Do you think that your profile speaks about yourself more than you think or less than you think? Are you conscious about this or not? Let me know in the comment section. We are probably going to meet in another video. We're going to continue talking about this. Let me know your perspective. Thank you so much for being here and have a nice rest of your day. Bye bye.